Let's do it.
All right.
This is for the girls. All one subscriber.
All one female subscriber. Let's see, how much chest hair should I leave out?
All of it.
All of it?
Yeah, as somebody that doesn't have a lot of chest hair, if I had it, I would leave it out. So,
Just fluff it?
yeah, fluff it up a little bit.
This is going to be an interesting opener.
After sweating in that armor,
Oh my word. It's dying.
peeling it off of me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Cheers. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Hello everybody and welcome again to the Booth Customs channel. It's me, John Mark Booth, with my buddy Austin, aka the Goon Prepper. We're starting a new series on AR optics / sighting devices, I guess I should say, because we're starting off with iron sights.
Yeah, so we just wanted to go through just a few things, like kind of give you guys the lowdown on like why would you use this specific optic or sighting device, price range of it, what kind of range should you expect of it, real casual, laid back, just because, you know,
That's how we are.
yeah, that's how we are. And this is important, you know.
Yeah.
You need to know what to use and when to apply.
I mean, yeah, because there's different applications for each optic setup.
Right.
So,
For sure.
and today we're doing iron sights.
Yeah.
So that's the most basic of all
Right.
sighting devices, and we have here this AR set up with Wilson Combat backup iron sights. So obviously you can flip them up or down, whatever. One of the things about iron sights is the battery's not going to run out. That's
right.
A key feature, in my opinion.
And if you drop it really hard, nothing shatters.
Yeah, nothing
At least
shatters.
it shouldn't.
It shouldn't shatter. If you get quality. Now you can. I did one time in my wayward youth buy some really cheap polymer backup iron sights from a local gun store. They were not Magpul. They were some like way off brand. And you remember when you used to get those little army men when you were a kid, and they like still have a piece of the plastic hanging off like that, smushed in the mold.
Yeah,
that's how these were. they were plastic army man iron backup sights,
no.
and yeah, that was a mistake. But I've never repeated that mistake.
Yeah.
So,
Oh gosh. But by and large, you know, with your iron sights, assuming that they are in fact metal,
yeah,
or the polymer that Magpul releases, you know,
Magpul's great.
Yeah, it's going to hold up.
Yeah,
you know, it's going to do the job that you need it to do.
Yeah. One good thing about them is they're real easy to set up with a few little adjustments forward and aft. You can get your iron sights, you know, dialed in for you. And I've kind of always been of the opinion that you should be able to shoot with iron sights before you move to an optic. Yes, you're probably never going to have that as your primary sighting device, but you know, things happen, optics break, batteries die, whatever else. The good old backup sighting system that Daniel Boone used is tried and true.
It's still going to function.
Yeah,
as
I mean,
the day is long.
Unless you're like our buddy John Gamm, who's in the Marines, and they qualify at 500 yards with iron sights.
Yeah.
You know, you can pretty much use iron sights. I think 100 yards is probably a good, maybe 200, depending on your visual acuity for iron sights as far as the range.
Yeah, but I mean, it also kind of depends on what you're going for.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I looked this up a couple days ago. You know, the M1 carbine.
Mm-hmm.
Its qualifications for marksman were, I think, You know what? I'm not going to give a number because I can't remember off the top of my head. But I know that it was at 300 yards.
Yeah.
And an M1 carbine, nothing to write home about.
No.
And
nothing special.
Those were basic iron sights, the same kind of sighting system that they had on the Garand. And you think about the boys that use that. I mean, they were reaching out once
way
again,
out there,
500-600 yards.
I mean, it's possible.
Doming Nazis.
It's possible. Like my eyesight, I don't know if I could like see the target clearly enough at 500 yards even with corrective lenses.
That's a long way.
It's a long way, but it can be done for sure. So,
but I agree with you that primarily what you're going to your thought process behind iron sights is like 100 to 200 yards tops. Your average shooter who's not used to firearms, who's not used to using irons, because it takes time to work up to that kind of accuracy.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of time behind the trigger.
Yeah, a lot of time behind the trigger, a lot of time getting used to iron sights, lining up everything correctly the way it's supposed to be. So yeah, you can make 500-600 yard shots with iron sights.
Yeah.
But you really need to know your rifle. You really need to know your iron sights. So yeah, 100 to 200 yards is probably more realistic.
Yeah, especially, I mean, because in my opinion, like this day and age with the modern optics that we do have, 200 yards, 300 yards the most is probably good enough. The optics we have now, you're going to be able to like reach way out there. They're super reliable. Batteries last a lot longer than they used to, that sort of thing. But in the event that optic failed, 200 to 300 yards should be good enough at least for you to do what you need to do in that situation.
Right, because if your optic fails and the person in Minecraft that you're engaging is past 200 yards, you have time.
You have time to go somewhere else.
You can get out of there.
You can get off the X.
Yeah, you can get off the X. Plenty of space between the two of you. Unless you're in Idaho.
Then you're messed up.
But yeah, no, I think that, actually something interesting to bring up, and this is a little shout out to Trench Grenade and his channel. He had, I think, 2 videos. I know at least one video entirely devoted to how stupid backup iron sights are.
Oh, did he?
He did. And I mean, that's essentially how he approached the subject too.
Right.
He was like, if you don't trust your red dot or you don't trust your scope or LPVO or whatever enough that you have to have a backup, then you should get a better scope.
Right.
You should get a better red dot system.
That's fair.
And it is fair. However, I do understand the thought process behind backup irons.
Right.
I mean, honestly, I don't have backup irons on my firearms, but if I did, I mean, I have no qualms doing it.
Right. Yeah. Well, then that's kind of my thing with my, I guess my main squeeze of a rifle that I have. I've had a backup rear sight on and off of it because I have the A2 on the front with an LPVO. So with a backup, obviously if like the LPVO messed up, I wouldn't be able to raise it up without getting the LPVO off.
Right.
So I've now got a quick detach from Burris on there so that if for some reason the glass shattered on my LPVO, I could quickly take it off there, flip up the rear sight, and get going. Right. And it's not always about like not trusting your optic, in my opinion, but it's just that shit happens.
Right. It does.
If you do you drop your rifle really hard, like in some area, and the rock hits it just right or something. I mean, things happen.
It does. And one thing that Trench Grenade says is like if you're taking fire and your optic takes a round, you're not okay.
You're not okay. So,
it doesn't matter if you have backup irons. But you said, that's not necessarily what's going to break your glass.
Right, yeah.
Like, you could just drop it.
Yeah.
So having a backup is fine, and it makes sense.
Yes, it does. And also, I mean, if you're new to the world of ARs or whatever, and you don't know what optic you want yet, get iron sights for your weapon, so at least you can get familiar with shooting it. It's only going to make you a better marksman using iron sights.
Right.
And then once you decide exactly what optic you want to get, put that on there. If you want to take the iron sights off after that, go ahead. If you want to leave them on, whatever. But marksmanship is marksmanship, and learning how your firearm shoots under different conditions is valuable, in my opinion.
Right, for sure.
So my non-backed up opinion, just as a gun lover.
Well, and too, kind of along that same thought process, you're going to save a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure.
Because what you would spend on a pair of iron sights, even higher end iron sights like some Wilson Combats, you're not going to be able to afford a good. No, I'll say mid-tier. You're not going to be able to afford a mid-tier red dot,
right,
for the amount of money that you could spend on iron sights.
Yeah, because I mean, for instance, if you get a like I said, a Magpul, we were talking earlier, it's like probably $60 to $70 for a set, somewhere thereabouts. These Wilson Combat, probably it's definitely north of 100, maybe close to like 120, 130ish for a set of these. They're never going to mess up. But the Magpuls are great too.
Yeah.
And then, like, I mean, as far as like red dots, you can get like a Sig Romeo red dot for $120.
Yeah.
Something like that. Not the best at all. I don't even know. It's probably approaching mid, but like still less than mid tier.
I'd say the Romeo 5 is like that bridge.
Yeah, it's like right in that.
Like
in the cusp, as it
right.
were.
And it functions really well.
Yeah.
Actually, I've told several friends who were looking at red dots the first go round. I was like, hey, get a Sig Romeo 5.
Yeah, and that's a great entry red dot. I would say
it's fantastic as an entry red dot.
Yeah, I've even got. I mean, we've got one. They'll come up later in the series on one of my uppers. It's great as an entry into red dots. You don't want to like go to Walmart and buy a red dot at Walmart. I did that one
Amazon
time. Or Amazon. I bought one at Walmart one time though, and I need to share this. I'll save it for the red dot video.
There we go.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it here.
Yeah.
Coming up.
So come back to the red dot video.
But yeah, so I mean, pros, they're cheap, reliable, or relatively cheap, reliable, and it makes you a better marksman to be able to use irons. So that's kind of like the finishing remarks I have to make. How about?
I'm right there with you. I mean, it's great for entry level. It's great to get started.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in to the Booth Customs channel with the Goon Prepper and myself. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure you like it, subscribe it, comment, share it with your buddies, because the algorithm overlords don't like the Second Amendment boys too much. So let's show them we still have a voice, all right? Well, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys next week.